Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Lane and this is my third video. I was taking a look at the other videos that I posted and I saw that I had a couple of views and actually a comment on there. I hope it's not all spam, but anyway, thanks to everybody out there who has been checking out the videos so far. I didn't have any views a week ago, so that's progress. What I wanted to talk about today is what I've been learning on my business experience, my business journey so far. As some of you might remember, I've been doing transaction coordination and transactional lending. So I've actually funded 4 transactional lending deals on my own so far, but I have yet to get one of them to actually close. So how transactional lending works is that a wholesaler, for example, or a buyer of real estate will submit an offer to purchase real estate with an earnest money deposit. So earnest money deposits are not 100% necessary. In some situations, they might be in some states, but they are customary and they make the buyer feel better and they make the agent feel better about an offer. And so what my role is when a wholesaler wants to make an offer on a property and they want to add earnest money for their offer to be considered more serious, then I will form a JV agreement with that wholesaler, and as their partner, I will provide the earnest money funds for them to be able to get the property under contract. This way, a wholesaler doesn't have to worry about how many contracts they have pending or in escrow because I'm the one bringing the funds. So you can think of it from the wholesaler's perspective if they're trying to scale. If each earnest money deposit is, let's say, $1,000, which is like 1% of 100 grand. So, and you're a wholesaler trying to scale and you've got 10 properties under contract, then that means that you'll have about $10,000 sitting in escrow. And for some people that might not be a big issue, but if you think about it from a normal person or somebody trying to get started, or maybe even somebody who's scaling even above 10, let's say they've got 100 properties under contract, that becomes a large amount of money very quickly. And instead of having that money sitting in an escrow account for 30 days where it's doing nothing, you could use that money to generate more leads, do paid advertising, send out mailers, pay a virtual assistant, run ads. Like, there's so many different things that you could do with that money rather than having it sit in an escrow account. And so what I provide is that flexibility for you to get properties under contract without having to wrap up all of your funds and slow down your business. And in that way, like, you win and I win and everybody wins, because at the end of the day, in real estate, nobody makes money unless the deal actually goes through. So I've funded 4 deals, but I haven't had any close yet, because when the wholesalers get a property under contract, they have to get it under contract for a price that's going to make sense for their end buyer at the beginning. You have to do that work up front. And this isn't always a wholesaler's fault. Sometimes the market changes. Sometimes their estimation of rehab costs doesn't shake out. Sometimes maybe the buyers in that market just aren't as active. There's a lot of different reasons why a transaction might not go through. So what I have learned this week is a few things. First of all, every time I lend out earnest money and it comes back, I have learned a lesson. I have learned something new about a transaction, like a better way of communicating with the title company, or a better way of polishing up my process, or a better way of communicating with wholesalers. In this situation, I learned that, trusting the wholesaler, being patient, and giving him a good name can work. We can develop a good relationship. I funded an earnest money deposit and the transaction didn't go through. I was worried that my earnest money was not going to come back to me, because that can happen. But I reached out to the wholesaler and I said, hey, I know that you'll take care of this. You've handled everything professionally. I trust that it will go through. And luckily, he was a good guy and he took what I was saying as a compliment, and he lived up to that expectation. He was professional. He communicated with the escrow company. He communicated with myself. And at the end of the day, I was able to get that money back, which is good. So, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I ventured and I've gained a little bit of insight into how these transactions work. Something else that I have learned is that title companies need to be communicated with and they need to be directed up front. So if I wouldn't have communicated with this escrow officer at the beginning and asked them, hey, in the event that things need to be canceled, what needs to be done in order for that cancellation to go through? And she told me that, we would need to sign a cancellation form by both the buyer and the seller. And typically that would come from the agent. So I communicated that with my wholesaler partner. And because of that, I was able to, in advance, get everything lined up so that even though the transaction didn't go through, my earnest money was still covered. So that's great. I saw a quote by Alex Hormozi, and I'll be talking about Alex Hormozi a lot. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching me in the future probably are people who watched Alex Hormozi in the past. Right now, if you watch Alex Hormozi, you're probably not watching me, but that's okay. His quote that I saw was that, I can't remember the whole quote, but basically, consistency is what sets people apart. So it's not necessarily that you have to be the smartest. It's not necessarily that you have to be the strongest or the fastest or the most knowledgeable or the most connected. All of those things are good, but what makes somebody a successful entrepreneur and a successful business owner is somebody who sticks with it even when it's just garbage, even though you don't know anything, and even though you are making tons of mistakes, and even though you're not seeing basically any benefit. The successful businessman, the successful entrepreneur is somebody who won't quit. That doesn't mean that you bang your head against the wall without earning any lessons. As long as you learn a lesson every day and you actually apply that lesson, you're making progress and you're taking a step in the right direction. So that's motivation for myself, and hopefully that's motivation for all of you. I've decided that in order to be successful, it just means that I can't quit. I have to keep going. I have to keep learning. I watched another video by him, Alex, where he was talking about the fact that, in order to go fast, you have to learn quickly. And the quickest way to learn is to basically pay for that education, or to get a mentor, or to be around somebody who has been through what you are going through currently. And if you can talk to those people, if you can be in those courses or in those rooms or in those seminars, if you can buy those books that are teaching you those skills that you lack, then that speeds the process. It narrows the gap between where you are and where you want to be, because if you don't do those things, then you're learning that all by yourself. So, imagine as a business owner having to learn with no help how to create a product, how to pitch, how to create advertisements, how to hire employees, how to create social media content, how to, the list goes on and on, all of these different things. Even as simple as making an LLC, which if you don't know how to make an LLC, just go onto YouTube or onto Google and figure it out. Maybe I'll make a video on it. But if you can narrow that gap, if you can shorten that time between something that you don't know and learning how to do it, then that is what is going to speed up your process. So there's two things that I've learned that I need to do. One, I need to learn how to sell, and two, I need to learn how to be good at generating social media content. Creating YouTube videos is one of those things. YouTube is going to be very important for me in the future, so I need to be consistent in making those videos. Right now the videos are kind of garbage because I don't put in any effort into these. I don't write a script beforehand. I just think about something I want to talk about and then I talk about it. That's kind of why the videos are all over the place, but they will get better. Trust me, I have better lighting now. At least I hope that's better lighting. So I'm trying to apply that principle of shortening the time it takes me to learn something. So learning social media and learning how to sell. To learn social media, I was scrolling today. I have resources through the community that I'm a part of. I have resources through some of the other people who are building the same kind of business that I'm building. But I saw a course today. Somebody was selling a small course about, social media content, specifically in Reels and in TikTok. And I think that those are some of the most important things for a content creator and a business owner to learn how to do right now, because instead of selling to somebody one at a time, what I'm currently doing is cold leads, cold outreach. So I'll go into Facebook, I'll type out a message, I'll send it to wholesalers in wholesaler groups, and then I'll send out tons of those and try to get a response. So I'm trying to do, I've been doing at least 50 a day. I've had days where I've done as much as 200. Obviously, in cold outreach, probably the more the better, but I'm going to try to do at least 100 to 150 a day. That's my goal. But what I've realized is that instead of spending, maybe 1 minute to reach one person in cold outreach, I could maybe spend 30 minutes, create a good piece of content, and reach potentially hundreds of people, potentially thousands of people, right? And so that's a better leverage of my time. So I got a course. It was pretty cheap. I think it was like $100. But I hope that it will give me knowledge I don't currently have. And if it does, then that $100 is worth it. I'm going to apply that content to everything that I generate, and I'm going to shorten the time between learning something and applying that thing. I'm going to write down a list of things that I know how to do that I didn't previously know how to do, and I'm going to make a video about it. And because, at the end of the day, the knowledge that I have is not knowledge that everybody has. Some things that I know are things that most people know, but there's still some that don't. Some things I know are things that maybe a lot of people don't know. Like, I'm going through business credit right now, trying to learn how to get business credit cards, business lines of credit. And I think that is something that I know that they didn't teach in school. I have a degree in finance and business management, and I didn't know what those things were. And so maybe I'll make videos about that. I'll create a list of things that I know that I can make videos on, and I'll do that. So if anybody has suggestions on things that they want to know about real estate investing, transaction coordination, transactional lending, finance, how to make an LLC, like applying for business credit, applying for personal credit, any of those things, let me know if you see this video, and if I know anything about it, I'll try to make a video or I'll research it. But thank you all for joining me in this video, and I hope I'll see you guys in the next one.